Have you ever looked at your plate and thought, I'm doing everything right, so why do I still feel tired, bloated, or like I'm slowly gaining weight no matter how healthy I eat? If so, you are absolutely not alone. I hear this from women in their 60s and beyond all the time. You've made the switch from white bread to whole wheat, traded in chips for granola, started adding more fruit to your day, maybe even picked up some protein bars as a snack. On the surface, it seems like you're doing everything your doctor, your diet books, and even your friends have recommended. But here's the truth that doesn't get talked about enough. Some of these so-called healthy choices might be working against you. They may have worked just fine when you were in your 30s or 40s. But as we age, our bodies change. Our hormones shift. Our metabolism slows. Our digestion becomes more sensitive. So what used to be helpful can quietly become harmful. And I want to help you spot that before it takes a toll on your waistline, your energy, or your confidence. So today, let's gently and honestly talk about 6 popular foods that are often labeled as healthy, but can actually cause older women to gain weight, and not just a little. We're talking about increased belly fat, sluggish digestion, and blood sugar swings that leave you exhausted and frustrated. I'll walk you through what's happening behind the scenes in your body. And better yet, I'll give you simple, realistic alternatives that support your energy, hormones, and vitality at any age. Let's start with one of the biggest food myths that's been around for decades: low-fat yogurt. If you grew up in the era of Jane Fonda workouts and Snackwell's cookies, you probably still hear that little voice in your head that says, go for the low-fat version. It's healthier. And for years, that's what many of us did. We filled our fridge with those little plastic cups, maybe with a picture of strawberries or honey on the label, and we felt good about it. But here's the problem. When companies take the fat out of yogurt, they have to put something back in to make it taste like, well, something you'd actually want to eat. And that something is usually sugar. Now, sugar isn't always obvious. It might show up as cane juice, corn syrup, fruit puree, or even a list of chemical-sounding names like maltodextrin. But the result is the same. It hits your bloodstream fast, spikes your insulin, and tells your body to store fat, especially around the belly. And for women over 60, that's a double whammy. Because with estrogen levels dropping, our sensitivity to insulin also drops. That means our body doesn't clear out sugar as efficiently, and more of it ends up getting tucked away as fat, right where we don't want it. But here's the part that really gets me. Low-fat yogurt doesn't even satisfy you. Without the natural fat, it doesn't trigger the hormones that tell your brain, hey, I'm full, I'm nourished, you can stop eating now. So you eat the yogurt, feel good for about 15 minutes, and then find yourself wandering back to the kitchen, still craving something. That's not a willpower problem. That's biology. Now, does that mean yogurt is bad? Not at all. In fact, full-fat yogurt, especially Greek yogurt or coconut-based options if you're dairy sensitive, can be a fantastic source of protein and probiotics. Just skip the sugar-loaded fruit on the bottom versions and go plain. Add a sprinkle of cinnamon, a few crushed walnuts, or a handful of fresh berries if you like a little sweetness. You'll stay full longer, have more stable energy, and actually enjoy your food without the sugar crash. Let's move on to something else that might be sitting in your pantry right now: protein bars. They sound like such a smart choice, don't they? Protein is the magic word these days. It sounds strong, balanced, and healthy. And when you're out running errands or on the go, grabbing a protein bar feels like a far better option than, say, a fast food drive-thru. But here's what most people don't realize. Many of these bars are basically candy bars in disguise. Sure, they might list 20 grams of protein right on the front of the wrapper, but what's in the fine print? Sugar, alcohols, artificial sweeteners, inflammatory oils, additives you can't pronounce. and ingredients like isolated soy or processed whey, which can mess with your digestion, your hormones, or both. Some of them spike your blood sugar even faster than a slice of cake. And because you're not chewing real food, just biting into something processed and compact, your brain often doesn't register that you've eaten something substantial. So again, you're left hungry, bloated, and wondering why your jeans feel tighter. And here's a little-known fact. Many of these bars use sugar substitutes like erythritol or sorbitol, which might have fewer calories but are notorious for causing gas, bloating, and stomach upset. As our gut becomes more sensitive with age, that discomfort shows up more often and stays longer. What starts as a healthy snack ends up leaving you feeling tired, inflamed, and uncomfortable. So what can you do instead? If you need something portable, real food still wins. A boiled egg with a pinch of sea salt, a handful of raw almonds with a couple of dark chocolate chips, or even a few slices of turkey wrapped around cucumber spears, those options give you protein, healthy fat, and fiber without the mystery ingredients or sugar spikes. And more importantly, they nourish your body, not trick it. And now, let's talk about one that might surprise you the most: fruit juice. Yes, even the fancy cold-pressed ones in glass bottles with labels like Immune Boost or Green Cleanse. I'm not saying fruit is bad, far from it. Whole fruit is wonderful, packed with fiber, antioxidants, and hydration. But juice is not the same. When you drink fruit juice, you're getting all the sugar with none of the fiber. That means your body absorbs it fast, and your blood sugar shoots up like a rocket. Think about it. One glass of orange juice contains the sugar of 4 or 5 oranges. Would you sit down and eat that many oranges in one go? Probably not. But once it's in a glass, it goes down in seconds. Your body doesn't get the fiber, the chewing, or the slow release of nutrients. It just gets a flood of fructose. And for older women, that's a big issue. Because as liver function slows with age, our ability to process fructose drops too. So more of that sugar ends up as fat, especially in the liver and around the belly. And here's the kicker. Juice doesn't fill you up. You drink it, feel refreshed for a moment, and then, boom, hunger returns. So you grab a snack. And just like that, you've added hundreds of extra calories without actually feeling satisfied. A better option? Eat the whole fruit. Chew it. Let your body take its time breaking it down. You'll feel fuller, get more fiber, and avoid the sugar roller coaster. If you're craving something refreshing, try water with fresh lemon or cucumber slices, or make a fruit-infused herbal tea. You'll stay hydrated without the sugar crash. Now that you're starting to see how these sneaky, healthy foods might be quietly working against you, it's easy to feel a little frustrated or even discouraged. But don't worry, you're not doing anything wrong. You've just been given advice that wasn't designed for your current body, your current stage of life. The good news is, once you understand what your body really needs now, everything starts to shift. Your energy, your weight, your confidence. And it starts with these simple changes. So take a deep breath and let's keep going. You're doing great. And since we're already pulling back the curtain on a few common health foods that aren't doing us any favors, let's keep going. Because the next one is sneaky. It sits quietly in your kitchen, usually in a plastic bag or maybe a brown paper package from the health food store. It smells amazing, it's crunchy, and it makes you feel like you're making a smart choice. Especially when you sprinkle it on your yogurt or toss it into a bowl for a quick breakfast. I'm talking about granola. I know. That one hurts. For years, granola had this golden halo over it. It was the food of hikers, yoga lovers, and health-conscious women who wanted something filling and wholesome. And on the surface, it looks innocent enough. Oats, nuts, maybe some seeds or a touch of dried fruit. It all sounds healthy, right? But here's what's really happening behind the scenes. Most store-bought granolas Even the organic, gluten-free, low-fat ones are packed with sugar. You might not see the word sugar itself on the label, but look closely and you'll spot ingredients like honey, brown rice syrup, maple syrup, agave, or even fruit juice concentrate. All of those still spike your blood sugar just the same. Now, why does that matter? Because when we hit our 60s and beyond, our insulin sensitivity drops. That means our body doesn't manage blood sugar as effectively as it used to. So every time we have a big sugar spike, whether it's from a spoonful of granola or a full bowl, our body releases more insulin, which tells our cells, store this energy as fat. And most of that fat ends up right around the midsection, the belly, the area we least want it to land. But it's not just the sugar. Granola is what I like to call a calorie-dense trap. That means you can eat a small amount and think you've just had a light snack, when in reality you may have eaten the calorie equivalent of a cheeseburger. 1/2 cup of granola? That's 15 to 20 grams of sugar, more than a glazed donut. And who only eats half a cup? Not many of us. Add a banana and some sweetened yogurt and suddenly your healthy breakfast is more sugar than dessert. And don't forget the dried fruit. I know raisins and dried cranberries sound like a nice natural addition. But remember, when you dry fruit, you take out the water and concentrate the sugar. A handful of raisins can carry the same sugar load as an entire bunch of grapes. But without the fiber and the hydration, it passes through your system faster and leaves you hungry sooner. Even the oils used in granola are problematic. Many brands use refined seed oils, like canola or soybean oil, that are high in omega-6 fats and can trigger inflammation. As we get older, chronic inflammation becomes a bigger deal. It's not just about sore joints. It affects everything from weight gain to fatigue to brain fog. So, what's the solution? You can absolutely still enjoy something crunchy and satisfying. One option is to make your own granola at home with rolled oats, unsweetened coconut, chia or flax seeds, cinnamon, and just a touch of maple syrup, or skip the sweetener entirely and use spices or vanilla extract for flavor. Another option is to shift your breakfast entirely. Try a couple of boiled eggs with sliced avocado, or plain Greek yogurt with some walnuts and cinnamon. Even a bowl of steel-cut oats with a spoonful of almond butter and a sprinkle of chia seeds can give you that warm, comforting feeling without the sugar overload. The next one I want to talk about really trips people up, because we've been told for years that it's one of the healthiest switches we can make. It's the bread we feel good about buying. The one that says whole wheat or multigrain in big letters across the front. We ditched the white bread, the sandwich rolls, the soft hamburger buns, and we did it proudly. But here's the truth. Most commercial whole wheat bread isn't doing us any favors. In fact, it might be doing the same kind of metabolic damage as its white, fluffy cousin. Let me explain. The label might say whole wheat, but that doesn't mean the bread is packed with fiber or minimally processed. Most store-bought whole wheat bread is made from flour that's been milled, stripped, and bleached, just like white flour, then had a few vitamins and minerals tossed back in so it can legally be called enriched. The glycemic index of these breads is still high, meaning they cause your blood sugar to rise quickly, then crash shortly after. That roller coaster might have been manageable in your 20s or 30s, but at 60 or 70, your body just doesn't recover the same way. And again, this all ties back to insulin. When blood sugar spikes, insulin comes in to lower it. But in doing so, it also tells your body to stop burning fat and start storing it, usually around the belly. And since your body is crashing afterward, it sends hunger signals. So you eat again, often more carbs, and the cycle continues. On top of that, many of these healthy breads contain additives like soy flour, corn syrup solids, and even added sugars to improve the flavor and shelf life. So while you think you're eating something that's heart-friendly and wholesome, Your body is dealing with the aftermath of another processed food bomb. And here's something many women tell me. They feel bloated after eating bread. Their stomach feels puffy, their joints a little stiff. That's not your imagination. It's your body talking to you. As we age, our gut lining becomes more sensitive to certain types of gluten, preservatives, and additives. That discomfort you feel? It's a message, and it's worth listening to. But don't worry. This isn't a call to give up bread entirely, unless you want to. There are better options out there. One of my favorites is sprouted grain bread. It's often kept in the freezer section of health food stores because it doesn't have the preservatives that keep other breads shelf-stable. Sprouted grains are easier to digest, lower on the glycemic index, and packed with more nutrients your body can actually absorb. Or you can get a little creative. Swap the bread for a roasted sweet potato slice and build your sandwich on that. Or use a lettuce wrap, a cauliflower wrap, or even slices of grilled eggplant as a base. The options are out there. You don't have to go hungry. You just have to choose what works with your body, not against it. Now that you're seeing the pattern, it probably feels a bit like peeling back a layer of your grocery list. Things you trusted, foods that were once your go-to, might suddenly feel suspect. But that's okay. This isn't about guilt. It's about getting honest, getting informed, and making choices that honor where you are in your life right now. You've made it this far. You deserve to feel strong, energized, and light in your body. And that starts with food that truly nourishes you. Let's take a moment to check in. If you're starting to feel like the healthy path you've been trying to follow isn't quite as straightforward as it once seemed, you're right. The rules that may have worked in your 30s or 40s don't always apply the same way once you reach your 60s and beyond. And that's not a failure. It's just a new chapter. A different season of life that asks for a slightly different kind of care. Once you understand what your body truly needs now, you can make changes that feel empowering instead of overwhelming. And that brings me to the next food that many women rely on in the name of health: smoothies. I know, it sounds like the perfect choice. Light, fresh, easy to digest. You toss in a banana, maybe some frozen berries, a splash of almond milk, maybe a scoop of protein powder if you're feeling ambitious. And just like that, it feels like you've done something good for yourself. But here's the problem. Most smoothies, even homemade ones, can quietly become sugar bombs in a glass. You see, when you blend fruit, especially a lot of it, you break down the natural fibers that usually help slow the digestion process. So instead of your body slowly working through that apple or those handful of blueberries, the sugar hits your bloodstream almost instantly. And with that rush of sugar comes, you guessed it, a spike in insulin. And if you've been watching this far, you already know what insulin does. It tells your body to store fat, particularly around the belly. It also leads to that inevitable crash, where you feel tired, cranky, maybe even foggy, and start reaching for another snack just an hour or two later. Now, throw in fruit juice, sweetened nut milks, flavored protein powders, or yogurt with added sugars, and that smoothie starts to look a lot more like dessert than breakfast. Even some green smoothies from juice bars can contain 40, 50, or even 60 grams of sugar. That's more than some candy bars. And because you're drinking it, not chewing it, your body doesn't register fullness the same way. That means you're back to the kitchen before you know it, looking for something else to eat. And here's something many people don't realize. As we get older, our liver becomes less efficient at processing fructose, the sugar found in fruit. So what used to be harmless when we were younger can now lead to fat being stored in the liver itself. Over time, that can contribute to non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, belly fat, and even insulin resistance, which is one of the biggest roadblocks to weight loss for older women. But that doesn't mean smoothies are off the table entirely. It just means they need to be built with a little more intention. Instead of starting with a bunch of fruit, think of vegetables and healthy fats as your base. Try spinach or kale for fiber and nutrients. Add half an avocado for creaminess and hormone-supporting fat. Include chia or flax seeds for digestion and satiety. Choose an unsweetened protein powder, one with real ingredients and no added sugars. And if you need just a touch of sweetness, toss in a few blueberries. Not a whole cup, just a few. You'll still get flavor without the sugar overload. It's a small shift, but one that can make a big difference in how you feel after breakfast. You'll notice steadier energy, fewer cravings, and maybe even a little less tightness in your waistband over time. Now, if you're still with me, let's talk about the sixth and final food on our list today. This one tends to show up in women's diets because we're told it's quick, easy, and perfect for a busy day. It's marketed as the smart snack, the healthy crunch, the grab-and-go bite you can trust. But for many women over 60, it's quietly doing more harm than good. I'm talking about fruit juice. Yes, juice again, but it deserves its own spotlight. Because even though we touched on it earlier, this one needs repeating. Fruit juice, even 100% natural, cold-pressed, fresh squeezed, vitamin C-packed juice, is not the same as eating fruit. And your body knows it. Let's take orange juice as an example. 1 glass contains the juice and sugar of 4 or 5 oranges. That's a lot of fructose hitting your liver at once, and there's no fiber to slow it down. Your blood sugar spikes, your insulin responds, and the fat-storing process begins. Not to mention, juice does nothing to keep you full. You drink it in seconds and feel hungry again shortly after. So many women drink juice in the morning, thinking they're making a healthy choice. But by mid-morning, they're feeling sluggish, maybe bloated, maybe even a little foggy. That's not age, that's chemistry. It's your body responding to that sugar dump. Now let's be clear, vitamin C is important. But you don't have to drink juice to get it. In fact, you can get more vitamin C with less sugar by eating leafy greens, red bell peppers, or a few slices of kiwi. Whole foods, chewed and digested the way nature intended. If you find yourself reaching for juice out of habit, try this instead. Fill a glass with filtered water, add a few slices of cucumber or lemon, maybe some mint if you're feeling fancy. It's refreshing, hydrating, and gives your body what it actually needs without sending your blood sugar on a roller coaster ride. And if you're looking for a naturally sweet treat, choose the real thing. An orange, a few grapes, a slice of melon. Just remember to chew it, not drink it. So there we have it, 6 foods that might have worn a healthy label for years, but aren't serving you the way you deserve to be served at this stage in your life. Low-fat yogurt, protein bars, fruit juice, granola, whole wheat bread, and sugary smoothies. All of them wrapped in good intentions, but when you look at how your body reacts, how your hormones, metabolism, and energy respond, it becomes clear. The label doesn't tell the whole story, but your body does. And here's the good news. You don't have to overhaul your entire life. You don't need to count calories, skip meals, or go on some trendy diet that leaves you feeling deprived. You just need to choose foods that work with your body, not against it. Real, whole, unprocessed foods. Meals that satisfy, not spike. Snacks that support your energy, not steal it. You've earned the right to feel good in your skin. You've earned a life of comfort, vitality, and ease. And that begins with choosing what goes on your plate each day with care and confidence. Now I'd love to hear from you. Which of these foods surprised you the most? Have you had any experiences with so-called healthy snacks or meals that didn't feel so healthy after all? Share your thoughts in the comments. I read everyone and I love hearing your stories. If you found this video helpful, go ahead and tap that like button so we know to keep making more just like it. And don't forget to subscribe to Strong Elderly Life for weekly content that supports your health, your happiness, and your strength at every age. Because you're not done. You're just getting started. Here's to living your best life. Strong, wise, and fully nourished.